Hey guys, just want to do a quick review of The Walking Dead Season 8, Episode 5, The Big Scary You. I would usually do a reaction video, but I didn't have time because of everything going on. And also at this point, at the time of recording this video, able to do like any kind of videos or breakdown of this episode, but I'll do a reaction video to episode 6, and then of course I have a reaction videos to Crisis on Earth X for the CW coming up on Monday and Tuesday. So for this one, the major points is that the Saviors are starting to suspect a mole within their ranks, and there's slowly like some disorder among the Saviors because Negan's missing and he's trapped in the trailer with Father Gabriel surrounded by the walkers, and they figure that they work together to get at it there. And Gabriel is calling Negan on his actions and saying that that he's doing what's best for the Saviors, and that before he came along, and that before he rose to power, that it was in the group was in disorder. He brought order to it, and he also feels like people are weak and they need to be disciplined, and he sees himself as someone who needs to kill one for save hundreds, and bring order and discipline in a very chaotic world, basically. And both of them Negan asks why Gabriel became a priest, and he says he wanted to help bring people together. They both end up confessing their major sins about how during the outbreak at the beginning of the zombie apocalypse, how he locked a lot of people out of the congregation out of fear, and Negan had a wife, a real wife who was being dying. It was affected by the outbreak, and his response was cheating on her for solace, and then he was forced to kill her once she succumbed to the virus and became a walker. And it brings a little bit more motivation, and it also shows how Saviors are still kind of fighting among themselves without Negan around to I guess he's mostly just fear and intimidation, and how Simon and Dwight and Eugene aren't able to bring much order to it, even with the whole saying "I am Negan," especially when he tries to shoot one of the Saviors for trying to rebel and kind of leading a riot, not kind of a riot for lack of better terms, against them. And it's not until we have this cool scene where it's something they kind of integrate from Fear the Walking Dead, or in which they would cover themselves in zombie blood just to blend in, and of course they had to still fight their way out among the walkers, but they managed to survive and get back to the Savior's post. Granted, Father Gabriel's now captive and is now sick, and it's possible he might have been bitten. And Negan is still talking with everybody else about who the traitor might be, who the mole might be, and it turns out Dwight was revealed to be the traitor, and Eugene, it seems like he's the one who figures it out after talking with Dwight, and now it's you're kind of wondering, is he really going to try to help him, or is he still going to continue to be follow Negan? Because quite frankly, I get the backlash towards the character, but the fact that it's the actor has gotten so much backlash to the point where Josh McDermott had to shut down all of his Instagram, all of his social media accounts at the end of season 7. And he's gotten death threats. I'm just shame on you, or shame on, I don't think it applies to everybody, but shame on those people for doing that. The writers write and the actors act, and apparently they're playing the long game and hopefully playing the long game, as opposed to Eugene kind of growing a pair and rebelling against Negan in the same way that Rick did. At least I'm hopeful that he does that at some point, especially since Dwight was reluctant to stand up to him and willing to follow Negan's orders, but now it's like that's starting to change. Um, and then we have Rick and Daryl, who were interrogating the dying savior who was just shot when they were chasing him in that Jeep at the end of 804, about where the explosives are and where to get more weapons, and saying that, the dying guy says most of his men were killed by Carol and King Ezekiel and company, and that they're all going to die this before all the saviors do. And Daryl and Rick and Daryl finally come to a head about how to deal with the saviors, whether it was with mercy or just let's just kill them all, and it was just beating the crap out of each other, and kind of just how it's similar. It's a kind of a thing where kind of like how Morgan and Jesus were like physical, beating the crap out of each other over the whole thing, to the point where they decided to go their separate ways. And there's this scene where Rick sees a helicopter flying overhead, and I'm not sure what that means, but it's be interesting to see like how the plotline is going to carry out through future episodes. Maybe it's like a third party involved. There's some kind of rescue crew who's just like searching around the general area. There's like they got to meet a helicopter from a completely different part of the country and trying to find settlement. I mean, it's open to speculation, but it's not quite as action packed as the first 4 episodes. It's a little bit slower, and it's a little more character driven. But I kind of liked where it's going. I mean, it still doesn't feel like like an episode of season 7 where we're just kind of like spinning their wheels about this. I feel like is the pacing, at least for me personally, for this season has been better and overall, and hopefully this will not. Hopefully it won't like it. The writers, I hope they just know that that season 7 got a lot of backlash and they learned from their mistakes, and that they're not going to like continue to spin their wheels and not just like let things drag. Especially, I know it's like, it's not like a 22 episode show, 20 something episode show. It's only like 16, but hopefully it goes like I said, at a reasonable pace. There's not like too much filler like last year. But overall, I feel like we get a little bit more of Negan's backstory, and I guess Gabriel and Negan were, because of like Gregory's actions, were forced to find some kind of common ground, at least, or relate to one another in some ways. But yeah, hopefully this is not the end of it, and I guess as we're getting more into like the backstory of the saviors, I just feel like we haven't gotten I feel like we're just kind of like peeling back the layers at this point, and maybe we'll get more as to maybe they won't, maybe they will, as to the whole situation with the saviors. And I don't know. I don't know. These are just my thoughts. I'm just kind of like spitballing and speculating, but either way, those are my quick thoughts on the episode. How do you guys feel about it? Did you like how it was a little bit slower? Did you prefer that would be more action packed than like the first 4 episodes this season? Leave your thoughts in the comments down below. If you like this video, like, share, and subscribe, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Take care.